Hello there, Ragnarok is here and you're probably about to play through the final part of Kratos' journey to the Norse realm. So let's go through the story of 2018's God of War to prepare you. I'll link a video breaking down the God of War's time in the Greek pantheon, as today this video is solely dedicated to the 2018 game. Let's do this. Years have passed since we last saw the Spartan warrior Kratos, who now lives the life of a mortal man in Midgard, with his wife Faye and son Atreus. We never actually meet Faye, as she has died recently, and Kratos is tasked with finding trees for her funeral pyre. Faye marked the trees she wanted for her final farewell, and with that comes her final request. She wishes for her ashes to be scattered at the highest point in the land. As her embers cool, an unexpected visitor arrives, a stranger wanting answers in the name of Odin. Long story short, an epic battle breaks out, and Kratos is victorious. The stranger is banished. Still in mourning, father and son collect Faye's ashes, and the adventure begins to find the highest peak in the 9 realms. Kratos struggles to interact with his son, and it's clear Faye was the more involved parent in Atreus' upbringing. It is revealed that Kratos never told his new family about his past, neither of them knowing that he was not a mere mortal, he was a god and the son of Zeus. It also appears that Faye hid secrets too, as the trees she selected for her funeral were part of a magic spell which hid her family from prying eyes in the Norse realm, and by cutting down that tree, Kratos has broken that spell. Dad and boy attempt to bond, but Atreus' sickness prevents much of it, an illness that appears when he's angry or rageful. Eventually, the pair bond via hunting, including pursuing this boar as target practice and lunch. That boar happens to be a friend of the witch in the woods, another god hiding in the wilderness. With her help, the boar is saved, and Freya somehow agrees to help the duo in their quest, as she misses her own son so much. Kratos and Atreus begin to find more hell walkers in the world. Beings that should be locked in hell are somehow walking among the living. By the way, hell or Helheim in Norse myth is super cold and icy, unlike the fiery hell you may be thinking about. The duo grab a boat and travel to the Lake of the Nine. The lake is now desolate with a single statue above water level. Atreus reads the text upon it.
Sacrifice your arms to the center of the water.
We must sacrifice our arms to the lake. So Kratos yeets Leviathan into the watery void. Out pops Jormungandr. I'll stick to saying it in my own accent. Jormungandr is the world serpent, so big he can wrap around the entire world and eat his own tail, if he so chooses. There's a prophecy in this land that Thor and Jormungandr are destined to kill each other when Ragnarok begins. I'm looking forward to that. The lake's water level has lowered now since the world serpent has moved, and Dad and boy continue adventuring. By this time, we have met 2 dwarf blacksmiths, Sindri and Brock, who are responsible for creating the Leviathan axe we wield. Each continue to upgrade it for Kratos in honor of its true owner, Faye, who gave the axe to Kratos. The dwarves currently hate each other and pop up throughout the whole game thanks to dwarven magic that can render them invisible to everyone. Well, except dragons. We'll get to that. Kratos and Atreus look to be closing in on the highest point in the 9 realms, but a deadly fog blocks their path, the Black Breath. Out of nowhere, Freya appears and tells them they'll need the light of Alfheim to go any further. This lets us see Yggdrasil, the only way to move between the 9 realms. And to use it, they will need a Bifrost containing that light. Luckily, Freya can get us to Alfheim, yet she cannot go there herself. She is trapped in Midgard. For now, we don't know why. So the father-son combo fight their way to the light they need to capture, while trying, unsuccessfully, to stay out of a war between the Light Elves and the Dark Elves. When they finally find the light source, as instructed, Kratos walks into it and is met with the voice of Faye, his wife. He is gone for mere moments, but when he's finally pulled back out of the light by his son, it seems he's been gone hours, if not days. Atreus stood guard and took out hundreds of Dark Elves protecting his father. It's time to go back to Yggdrasil. And accidentally, Kratos lets the Light Elves back in control of the Alfheim light. It'll be okay, won't it? The leader of the Dark Elves attacks our heroes and doesn't stand a chance. His final words are ominous. A grave mistake. We shouldn't have let those Light Elves back in, but without a care in the world, Kratos and boy leave Alfheim. Back to the climb to the highest point in the realm they go, dispelling the Black Breath that once stopped them with their shiny new Bifrost, and for a few moments there, father and son are getting along. Kratos is starting to show some emotion towards him, leading to this scene where Atreus lights a sky lantern in his mother's memory. After lots of fighting, including a face-off with a freaking dragon, they reach the summit, saving Sindri from certain death. To thank them, he gives them new arrows, bright green and made of mistletoe. Very cool. A small moment with huge ramifications happens next. Atreus' quiver strap breaks and Kratos repairs it using one of those mistletoe arrowheads. Remember that, it's important. At the very peak of the climb, the stranger that visited Kratos' home is heard interrogating a tree alongside 2 more people. Once they leave, we meet Mimir.
The very topic of conversation. A tattooed man traveling with a child.
A prisoner inside a tree destined to live forever trapped here. Odin imprisoned Mimir here as he was suspected to be an ally of the Jotun, aka the Giants, a race of people that can grow extremely tall. It's said some Jotun can see into the future. Call it prophecy, call it foresight. All we know for sure is Odin wants it for himself. After the Jotunheim gateway vanished from the World Tree's reach, Odin took no chances and imprisoned Mimir in an unbreakable tree, and took out one of his all-seeing eyes for good measure too. Mimir has bad news for us too. This is not the highest point in the Nine Realms, the place we were gonna scatter Faye's ashes. In actuality, it's in Jotunheim, and we just found out that there's no way to get there. Bummer. On the plus side, Mimir knows a secret way to Jotunheim, but he must come with us to show us. Long story short, Kratos lobs off Mimir's head and takes it to Freya to be reanimated. And now Kratos has the coolest hearing in the Nine Realms. Whilst visiting the witch in the woods, she takes away our mistletoe arrows and burns them. Freya then makes Atreus promise to destroy all mistletoe he sees in future. He reluctantly agrees. When Mimir is reanimated, Freya can't resist spitting in his face, and this is the cue for Mimir to reveal her secret. Freya is the wife of Odin, another god. And as we all know, Kratos hates gods. But Freya also hates Odin almost as much as Kratos. But for there to be peace between the Aesir and the Vanir, she agreed to wed. Eventually, she taught Odin her people's magic, and he used it to imprison her in Midgard forever. That's why she was ejected from Alfheim earlier on. Odin is a sneaky bugger. Mimir joins the lads tour and tells stories on the boat, which leads to the moment where he speaks to Jormungandr in his native tongue. And, FYI, the giant serpent is a Jotun. He's one of the giants himself, literally this time. Mimir talks of the war between Jormungandr and the god of thunder. And to make that more visual, the world serpent eats the statue of Thor nearby. Next, the world serpent physically moves the bridge to show the trio where they need to go to next, which is to get a piece of a chisel, which is currently embedded in a dead frost giant's head, put there by Thor himself. They get it, of course. Out of nowhere, the two men seen at Mimir's tree are revealed, Magni and Modi, the sons of Thor. An inevitable battle begins. Atreus is wound up to a crazy level, then he has a complete loss of self-control, leading to him collapsing. Luckily, by this point, one brother has run away, and the other one has an axe in his face. R.I.P. Magni. Modi returns to finish the fight, goading Atreus with your mum jokes until the little guy triggers his own Spartan rage, just like his dad. But unlike his dad, Atreus cannot handle it and passes out. Modi is beaten again and runs away again. Kratos takes the unconscious body of Atreus back to Freya, his desire to help his son outweighing his hatred of all gods. She tells Kratos to go to Helheim, literally hell, to bring back the heart of the bridge keeper. He agrees, but Leviathan won't work in hell. He needs a fire that burns like no other to venture into the frozen hell of Norse myth. Kratos travels home and we see he has kept the blades of chaos all this time, bestowed on him by Ares himself. By returning to his past, Kratos is visited by Athena, the goddess who once used him for her bidding.
You will always be a monster.
Athena cannot stop Kratos.
I know.
He must save his son and travels to Helheim. Kratos defeats all that stand in his way and attempts to escape Helheim as quickly as possible, as visions of his life are constantly forced upon him, a form of torture down here. Kratos sees the father he once killed.
My father? Your father was Zeus?
But with the heart in hand, he returns to Freya and his son, leaving Hel behind. Back in Midgard, Atreus is cured! Hooray! Saved from that mysterious illness. It's now clear Atreus is subconsciously fighting his true nature as a god, as he's always been told he's just a mere mortal. To truly remove this illness, Kratos must be honest with his son. Kratos finally comes clean.
I'm a god, boy. From another land far from here. When I came to these shores, I chose to live as a man. But the truth is, I was born a god. And so were you.
Both father and son are gods, and the boy is delighted. His demeanor changes from this point. The fear of mortality is removed, and Atreus suddenly thinks he is the superior to everyone around him, even his father. Honestly, he becomes such a turd. It was painful playing through this section. He's so cruel to the dwarfs, he belittles his own mother. What a little The trio visit the Temple of Tyr. That's the Norse god of war, by the way. But unlike Kratos, this god of war was more interested in protecting people and pursuing peace and solutions before war. Completely the opposite of Kratos' version of God of War. Peace was never an option in the old days of Kratos. After a ton of puzzles and fights, we get the object we came for, a black rune, which combined with the chisel from earlier will give us access to Jotunheim. Huzzah! Off to the gateway, at the top of Midgard we go again. En route, Modi appears one more time. This time he's beaten and bruised within an inch of his life. His own father did it. Thor claims that Modi is responsible for Magni's death. Modi is little threat to our heroes, yet Atreus, still full of himself after learning he's a god, against his father's orders, kills Modi. Knife to the neck, followed by a yeet. Kratos and Atreus' relationship is at an all-time low, but they continue on the path to Jotunheim. And as they are about to pass through the gate, the stranger returns, yet we now know more about him. Balder is the son of Odin and the brother of Thor, destined to live forever thanks to an unbreakable spell which makes him invulnerable to attacks. Yet this is a curse too, as it removed his ability to feel anything at all. Warmth, touch, snow, arrows, he feels nothing. Nothing affects him, which sent him down a 100-year journey of anger and hatred. During the fight, Atreus, who is now one of the most arrogant people you will ever meet, openly shoots his own father with an arrow and ridicules his dad when he clumsily breaks the door to Jotunheim during the fight. Eventually, this arrogance was his undoing as Balder grabs him and attempts to escape back to Asgard with this offering to Odin. Instead, Kratos knocks them all into Hell. Helheim for everyone. Hell continues to torture all its inhabitants with visions of their worst moments, showing Atreus the moment he killed Modi. It seems to be the kick up the butt he needed, and he sees the error of his ways, and Atreus slowly reverts back to being a good kid. Well done, bro. Elsewhere, Balder is being shown moments of his life too. Nobody is safe here. In this moment, we see Balder's mother, who is none other than Freya, the witch in the woods, the Vanir goddess. Oh, and just in case you're wondering why Mimir didn't tell them, it's because he was hexed by Freya and unable to remember that fact. Finally, Kratos' vision shows him unaliving his own father. Paralyzed by this, he needs Atreus to get him back on track, which is lifting a giant ship into the air like a lantern, before jumping off and falling into one of Odin's secret chambers. Here we discover the final hidden piece of the puzzle, Tyr's Eye. The Norse god of war was so trusted by the Jotun that those giants gave him the gift of sight, and it so happens Mimir has that too. He unlocks the hidden scriptures. Those eyes allowed the holder to travel to the realm between realms. There's one issue though. Mimir is missing an eye, and the dwarves say it's in the Thor statue. Oh yeah, Jormungandr ate that statue earlier, so we have to go inside the world serpent. Surprisingly, the big wriggly worm is okay with this, letting the trio inside his stomach to find the eye, and now Mimir has two of them. As they are leaving, something attacks Jormungandr, leaving him hurt and throwing out Kratos and Atreus, who land by the frost giant corpse. They are joined by Freya, who no longer hides how she gets around. She shapeshifts into animals. And finally, Balder joins them, walking out of the water like 007 himself. It was he who beat the living daylights out of the world serpent, so he'd spit them out. Balder is taken aback by the sight of his mother after all these years, and his desire to unalive her is almost uncontrollable. Instead though, he has another scrap with Kratos.
This path you walk, vengeance, you will find no peace. I know.
Epic battle number 3 begins, and this time, Atreus is in control of his actions. Yet Balder has no issue punching a child in the chest so hard he almost stops breathing. Kratos comforts his son. The real revelation is finally here. The mistletoe arrows Freya burned were a clue all along. The one used to fix Atreus' quiver strap had punctured Balder's hand. His curse was lifted. He could now feel everything. His personal hell is over. Yet instead of enjoying the moment, Balder still fully intends to take the life of his mother for the suffering he has endured for lifetimes. Kratos and Atreus will not allow this, and epic battle number 4 takes place. Constantly interrupted by Freya, who tries to broker peace by holding the fighters in place. This fails, so she casually reanimates the frost giant and puppets it to break her son and Kratos apart. The fight scene is so epic as Kratos and Atreus fight side by side for the first time, defeating Balder once again. But to show the growth of Atreus during the game, he calls for his father to stand off.
He's beaten, Father. Not a threat.
Not a threat. Balder is unable to walk away and strangles his own mother, who is okay with giving her life for her son. But Kratos doesn't agree. The cycle has to be broken.
The cycle ends here. Must be better than this.
Balder is dead for real this time, feeling snow on his face for the first and final time. Overwhelmed with grief for her son, Freya vows to avenge him.
And feed your soul to the vilest filth in hell! That is my promise!
He saved your life.
He robbed me of everything!
Kratos uses the moment to come clean with his son, admitting to all the deeds of his life of war, good and bad, and even killing his own father. Atreus asks a question which will mean everything to the next game.
Is this how it always ends? Sons killing their mothers? Their fathers?
No. We will be the gods we choose to be.
Finally, they open the door to Jotunheim and fulfill the original objective of the game, to scatter the ashes of Faye, Atreus' mother, to the winds at the highest point in the 9 realms. Here in the land of the giants Jotunheim, no living soul exists. Only corpses and dust can be seen. Atreus stumbles across a mural on the wall which depicts everything we've been through so far. From meeting the world serpent to fighting Balder and Freya, Atreus' mother Faye saw it all. and she is revealed to be one of the Jotun, Laufey, a standard-sized giant with foresight. She kept her godhood from Kratos as he thought he did too, which means the day the stranger came to visit, he was actually looking for Faye and not Kratos. As Atreus walks away, Kratos sees something that hasn't happened yet, his own death, dying in the arms of Atreus as some sort of serpent emerges. Kratos and Atreus fulfill their vow, and Faye's ashes are scattered to the wind. Kratos has finally let go of his binds as his son now knows all his secrets. He doesn't need to hide anymore. But wait, there is another bombshell. Atreus finds out he was named after a Spartan warrior Kratos admired. Yet Faye had another name for him. Atreus is known to the giants as Loki.
The giants called me Loki?
The trickster god from myth. The two finally go home for some well-deserved rest and relaxation, yet Atreus, or should I say Loki, has another vision. Thor is coming. Ragnarok is here.